Hello, amazing B2 English learners, and welcome back to Unlock B2 English. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mark. We're thrilled to have you join us for another episode designed to boost your confidence and precision in English.
Today, we're tackling a topic that many B2 learners find incredibly useful, those subtle mistakes. The ones that aren't necessarily wrong grammatically, but they just subtly reveal that your English isn't quite as advanced as it could be.
Exactly. We're not talking about basic grammar errors here. We're focusing on those nuanced points that, once mastered, will make your English sound much more natural, sophisticated, and, well, truly B2 and beyond. Think about things like overusing simple connectors or not quite hitting the right intonation.
Our goal today is to help you identify these common pitfalls and give you actionable strategies to overcome them, transforming your everyday English into something truly impressive.
Before we dive in, here's your pre-listening question. Think about a time when you felt your English didn't sound as natural or advanced as you wanted, even if you couldn't pinpoint why. What was the situation? Keep that in mind as we discuss today's mistakes.
All right, let's jump straight into our first subtle mistake. Mark, what's often a dead giveaway that someone's English isn't quite hitting that advanced mark?
For me, it's the overuse of very basic connectors, always using and, but, and so. While they're not incorrect, relying solely on them makes your speech and writing sound simplistic.
Absolutely. Instead of always saying and, you can use moreover, furthermore, or in addition. For but, consider however, nevertheless, or on the other hand. And for so, you've got therefore, consequently, or as a result.
Let's take an example. Instead of the weather was bad, so we stayed home, try the weather was bad, consequently we stayed home. See how that elevates the sentence?
It truly does. Another subtle mistake relates to intonation and stress in sentences. Many B2 learners might have perfect grammar, but their speech can sound a bit flat, like every word carries the same weight.
That's a great point, Sarah. Native speakers naturally stress important words to convey meaning and emotion. For instance, if I say, I didn't say he stole the money, it means someone else said it. But if I say, I didn't say he stole the money, it means he might have found it or borrowed it. The stressed word completely changes the meaning.
Exactly. Paying attention to which words to emphasize can dramatically improve how your message is received. We'll give more examples of this in the video version, showing you exactly how our mouths move for specific sounds, like the challenging TH and R sounds.
Continuing with vocabulary, a common subtle mistake is using words that are too general. For instance, constantly relying on good or bad.
Exactly. Instead of simply saying it was a good movie, you could express it with more precision, like it was an outstanding movie or a captivating film. Similarly, rather than I'm very tired, try I'm exhausted. These stronger adjectives genuinely add more depth and impact to your communication. Using more precise vocabulary is a quick win for sounding more advanced.
Another subtle area where learners can improve is with phrasal verbs. Many stick to single-word verbs, which are perfectly fine, but incorporating phrasal verbs often makes your English sound significantly more natural and idiomatic, especially in professional contexts.
Consider the difference between investigate and look into, or postpone and put off. In a workplace environment, knowing phrases like get ahead, follow up, or burn out is really valuable for sounding fluent and professional.
Moving on, a subtle mistake we often notice is a lack of variety in sentence structures. Constantly using basic subject-verb-object sentences can make your English sound quite repetitive, even if grammatically correct.
Integrating more complex structures such as conditional sentences, reported speech, or even the passive voice can add considerable richness to your speech. For example, instead of two separate short sentences like, he came home, he was tired, you could combine them more elegantly. Having come home, he was tired. This approach is more concise and sophisticated. Mastering these structures truly makes a difference in your B2 and C1 level English.
Our sixth subtle mistake concerns formality. Sometimes B2 learners use language that is either too formal or too informal for a particular situation. They might use slang in a business meeting or very stiff academic language when speaking with friends.
Knowing when to choose the appropriate register is crucial. It's about skillfully adapting your language to fit the context and your audience.
And finally, our seventh subtle mistake. Sometimes B2 learners find connected speech challenging. This is the way native speakers link words together, which can make rapid speech difficult to follow.
Absolutely. Words frequently blend together, and understanding these patterns is vital for improving your listening comprehension.
So, to quickly recap, the 7 subtle mistakes we've discussed today are overuse of basic connectors, flat intonation, imprecise vocabulary, underuse of phrasal verbs, lack of sentence structure variety, inappropriate formality, and difficulty with connected speech.
By becoming aware of these areas, you can consciously work on refining your English to sound more natural and advanced. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about continuous improvement and sounding more like a native speaker.
Now, for your weekly challenge, take one of the 7 subtle mistakes we discussed today that you feel you might make. Identify a specific phrase or sentence you commonly use and try to rephrase it using one of the more advanced alternatives or techniques we mentioned.
For example, if you often use and, try to substitute it with moreover or furthermore in a sentence. If you find yourself overusing very, choose a stronger adjective instead. Actively applying this will move it from passive knowledge to an active skill.
That's it for this episode of Unlock B2 English. We hope this deep dive into subtle mistakes gives you clear targets for your learning.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. We've got more exciting topics coming your way.
Thank you so much for listening and for being part of our Unlock B2 English community. We'll be back next week with more valuable content.
See you then.